Hey Cody, thanks for coming out. We're going to do a quick recap here of your lesson. I can't tell you how much fun this was. Awesome work today. Draw that sway line and that bump line that we talked about. Spine line that we addressed. Headline, again, these lines are, I probably screwed that up a little bit, but these lines are just a way of you and I communicating, you understanding what I'm talking about, and something that I use to see what's going on. So as you turn away, we talked about, and I'll use red to communicate things that we see. We watch the head move down and towards the target slightly. That kicks this hip out. You can see how much it's exaggerated right now. Club gets really long. We talked about lead arm wrist. A lot of this stuff is hard to see from this angle. It'll be easier in the down the line swing. And we talked about in an ideal situation getting this, I think I did, I'm sorry, this from the lead shoulder down to the club head being a straight line with the elbow and the hands. And you can see you're not that far off. But you had said you lost control of where the golf ball was going late last year, high all the time as far as ball flight goes. And it could go left, it could go right. It did kind of what it wanted to do. Here we go, looking at your golf swing from down the line view. We used 48 as our line, or I'm sorry, let me get rid of that red. 48 is our posture number for shaft in an ideal situation. 59. Posture. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because club head went pretty far in. I want you to be focused on not what you do bad or what you do wrong. I want you to see the progress you made here. So basically, we see the club get worked inside with the hands. Hands go in towards that right leg. Club head goes in towards the doors here. And then from here, the club just goes straight up in the air. Your hands go straight up in the air. Across the top, club goes too far. Club at the top of the swing is over by the left shoulder. Should make sure that's not green, red. And then club gets really steep, or shaft pitch gets very steep in the downswing. Not a lot you can do from here other than to have your body go up to get out of the way for the golf club to get back through. Okay? So after explaining that to you, we talked about posture, and when we went on the robot, that guy versus this guy looks much more athletic, correct, on the left? Shaft and hands work up that line together. We talked about you feeling much more coiled up at the top, more hip turning, right hip turning like towards the back of the room over here where the cursor is, left shoulder. Going that way too, clubs on plane. You can see you're experimenting, your right arm getting straighter, trying to get a feel for things. This is the first one we caught on video. Then we went over here. First swing. Now I said, all right, Cody, go over there in the hitting bay and try to duplicate what you just felt on the robot. Top of the swing. top of the swing. Definitely see more of your lower half, more chest, right?
Mhm.
So rotation was our focus. From here on the right, shaft goes straight down again. You've seen this before. A lot of shaft pitch or vertical shaft pitch. Over here on the left, not ideal, but is that club in a healthier place? Yes. The golf club's weight, or the head of the golf club, is behind the hands. It's not perfect, but it is better than over here on the right. So then, this was another view of you showing me what it felt like, the change, or what you felt on the robot. Posture is way better to start. We talked about how if I draw a line here, maybe this will be the best example. In an ideal situation, we want a little bit of the shoulders being behind that line. If I draw a line here, you can see how your shoulders got out in front of it. So
Yep.
that goes the wrong way. That's a great breakdown of the over the top. So you can see it in the hips. There's more rotation here on the left, not as much leak out as there is on the right over here with this hip. I'm going to get you back down to impact. Look where your head goes. Okay. Then went back up on the robot and we started getting you an idea of feeling this club get laid down, or talked about, I showed you the drill with a shaft and showing you how that right arm and right shoulder are going to work to start the downswing. I think this was actually before we talked about that, but you'll watch the shaft go down to get that right elbow in your right hip, essentially, inside your right hip. You're delivering that club from the inside, but you can see we've got some club face issues.
Yeah.
Look where that thing's...
Yep.
So we did that. Now you went over here and I asked you to show me what that felt like. What that robot swing felt like to you. I think it's always good to have a comparison. Quite a bit different, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Slide over here. We started talking about teeing it up, and the idea was to swing out here to the right and get that club face going left. I'm sorry. Slightly different there, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome, awesome change. Not perfect, though, because we started talking about wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained how the club face and how people over here with these sticks, ball flight law, I explained why people get so confused or so lost and so frustrated with this game, because it is so hard when you don't know what the club face is doing. Even this, it's not ideal, but that club head is staying behind those hands much longer. Now that's why I did that last one. Club head looked like it worked outside the golf ball in the golf ball in the downswing, and then we started talking about that head moving towards the target and how the club head moves outside the hands because of it.
Yep.
So I brought this noodle in here to give you an idea of when your head was leaking forward. You're working on that lead wrist right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes this thing takes so long. Different dude. Not ideal. This is that drill. You can do this at home. Watch the structure of the right arm and the wrist. Try to keep that from spilling. It's exaggerated and held on to for a long time. And I shake my head. Nope. Back to you. Darn it. Try to get your arms, getting an understanding of how they are responsible for the club head. Have you turn this thing away. I drew that bottom line a little incorrect, but if we get your arms working with the chest, we certainly get in a better place than over here.
Mm-hmm.
We worked on that a little bit, and we were starting to harp on that top position. So I recorded this because I wanted you to get an idea of having that right elbow just slightly lower than the left at address. Lead wrist is 4 there, but you correct it and caught it. Regardless, that club is coming from a different direction. This is the one that I wish I would have caught. Look at that right hand, right arm, right where we want them. Looks good. To checking things out and organizing it. A little out to in. We'll back these up to see how different you are moving from the top to impact. Just by understanding what it is that was wrong and what needed to improve. Great work today. Hopefully we get to see you back so we can make more progress like this. But do some of the drills with the cup to get an idea of that. I love that you standing up, 90-degree angle, get that right elbow slightly under the left just to get it started. Turn to the top, check that wrist, go back down. Turn to the top, check that wrist, go back down. turn to the top, check that wrist, and then turn it to impact and see if it works. If it doesn't, turn it back up, see if it works. Like the third time, make it work, and hit it.
Okay.
But a great job today. Really impressed how different that is at impact.